folks? We here with another Weebaholic podcast. Let's get it. Let's go. Today, I got my man, my other co-host, the other leg of part of the channel, Rashawn. Rashawn, tell him what's up, bro.
How you guys doing? It's me from the Rayshawn Gas and Anime podcast. Just here to chill out with you guys.
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, anime.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So by the time this episode comes out, it's going to be a lot of episodes out. So whatever's out, I hope you guys enjoy it. Remember to go like, comment, and subscribe. Turn notification bell notified for all the podcasts. Go follow Anime Instagram and Anime Score Again Show. Go follow my co-host at Isaac.Lens and RGAP2. He has his own podcast. We should be recording something soon, I would think. So by the time,
we're recording this weekend.
Okay, so by the time
not this weekend or Friday.
By the time this comes out, it'll be a full out, so it don't even matter. You guys can follow us on all podcast platforms: Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and a YouTube, of course. And now we have an amazing episode, that is a topic that is not talked about a lot in the anime community, but something that we always do talk about among ourselves. Backstories matter. They what makes you feel emotionally invested with these characters. It gives more context on how they act and how they perceive the world. So today we're going to give you our top 3 Naruto backstories with one honorable mention. And you can, Rashawn, you can go with your first honorable mention, or your only honorable mention.
Honorable mention? Oh, I thought we were doing Saddest backstories.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Like,
okay, you said backstory.
Okay.
And it kind of, I was like, hold up, that kind of changes my
mind. No, my bad. You wrote it wrong. The saddest backstories in Naruto to us.
Okay, so my honorable mention?
Mm-hmm.
My honorable mention is Gaara.
Okay, he made my list, but that's a good one.
Okay.
That's a good one for sure. Explain why, if you would care to.
Gaara, see, the only reason why I don't pick Gaara as the most.
No, explain why he didn't make your list, because I'm gonna explain why he's in my top 3. I'll explain why.
Yeah, I'm explaining.
Yeah.
The reason why I don't put him in my list as Saddest backstories is because I feel like he overcame a lot in his childhood to the point to where I feel like it's hard to really say his childhood was like fucked up. I don't know. It really depends on where you see or how far you count someone's childhood.
Yeah. Okay. I'll address that.
Because I feel like he was damn near Kazekage at what, 12?
No, like 15.
15? That's
15. Yes. Well, I'll get to that point. I'll get to that point.
His whole demeanor changed at like what, after he fought Naruto, everybody loved him.
Honestly, I hate how like after, I think maybe every anime does this, but I feel like sometimes Naruto after a big fight, they kind of just flesh the character out. Like you want to see a little, like even in anime, they do a lot of off-screen shit, and it's just like I wanted to see that. Like there's a lot of fights and moments that happen that's so off-screen you never see it. But that's you
want to see what Gaara's development during that time?
Yeah, that type of thing. Yeah.
See, that's filler. That's a weird filler.
But filler, they had it. But like I remember, it was a Tachi. It was like the Anbu filler. That was legit called filler. But it was one of the best fillers I've ever seen. Like, if we're gonna do filler, make the filler matter. Like we have it out so like if I want to watch it, I can be like not like us going after an ostrich or that's Kakashi's face. I know you fangirls love trying to see what his face looked like, but guys, we didn't care. I watched this still, but we didn't care.
What the fillers was supposed to really show the other missions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it was really supposed to do, show the other missions, but
yeah, but y'all still made y'all money. Y'all don't care either way. So for my number 3, this is conflicting. I'm gonna go with Pain or whatever.
We're not doing honorable mentions?
No, that's my honorable. Oh shit, that's my honorable mention. I'm tripping. That's my honorable mention. I'm tripping. WTF moment. That's my honorable mention though. Pain. I don't know if did he make your top 3?
No, he didn't.
Okay, good. He's somebody different. I think Pain, like I said, he went about it wrong. Like he wanted a peaceful world. That's legit, because like I know there's a quote like in real life, basically kids who experience war think that like going about things in a destructive way to get peace is a good thing. Like if I experienced war my whole life, I'm gonna have a different outlook on how life looks than somebody who's experienced peace or just tranquility. Like I kind of compare it to like, I guess maybe living in the projects, then to compare to somebody who maybe lived in like the suburbs or somewhere like in a six-figure area, like where you're good, and like the way you look at things is gonna be different. Y'all might still be both good people, but you're gonna look at things a lot differently because the struggle and the non-struggle. And it's just that, he was just his master. He killed his master, so the way he did about it was wrong. But what got him to that point, made like with the war and losing his close friends, losing his parents, like he's legit just. I think his backstory is a little more like realistic in the sense that because a lot of people back in the day would lose their family because of war, but it's just still sad to see like even in his demise, he still like had his childhood in him. It's just that like he went about it in a wrong way, but he wanted to live in a peaceful world, So that's why he's in my number. But I was stuck between him and Obito, to be honest. Obito didn't make my top three for me.
You can kind of relate him to like what's going on now with all those people that got to migrate because of the war.
Yeah. So that's why I just like I get what's going on, and then it's just sad. So, but into the Naruto. What's your number three, brother man?
Okay, if we start at number 3, I actually picked Naruto as my number 3.
Wow, I thought you were having number one.
Story.
I thought you were gonna have him number one.
I did have him as my number 1 because the only reason, because we'll see once we start talking about the other 2. I think Naruto should have his own respect when people say saddest backstories, because I always feel like people always gloss over the fact.
No. I feel like people acknowledge that he had bad. I think people bring it up all the time.
You think so? Because I always feel like people always arguing that Sasuke's backstory is more sad. Like he had a more sad childhood upbringing than Naruto, and I just can't see that. With the feeling is, even though Sasuke lost his like family, right? Naruto was always ostracized,
right?
To the point to where like even Sasuke, when that happened to him, could have people to talk to, right?
But we weren't shown that though, so we just had to assume that he was alone. So that's also on Kishimoto too, on like not showing a little bit of that.
But you would think that because they never said anything about the Uchihas being. I mean, that's hard because I don't know if the whole village.
The problem with like a lot of backstories, we don't know what happened in the years between like them of being like what 5 or 6 to like when they got to when the show first started. That's a lot of that's another thing. But I think with Naruto, because the show throws it in your face so many times of how much he had to suffer and this and that, to the point where I thought this was a hot take. I think it was kind of wild. They were saying like somebody was like this TikToker was like he did have a bad childhood, but like he was still getting a lot. Like I do think he did have a bad, like you had the third Hokage, he wasn't taking care. Like why are you taking care of Konohamaru, but you're not also taking care of the 4th Hokage son? Like the 4th Hokage died.
And then they know that. Like that's what making me mad. It's people who know he's the 4th Hokage son, and they still treating him like I mean, if you think the 3rd Hokage was a father figure for him, then I guess. I don't know, because I think I've only seen like one moment they had when they were like at a campfire, but other than that,
I think for me, it's not even I don't even try to compare it, because I do think Sasuke is a little. I think his trauma is a little just. I think both traumas are different. But they're both different in the fact that like, okay, Sasuke never had the family, so he doesn't have the connection. And he had a family and he had that connection. So let me correct myself. So he does understand, like he lost everything, while Naruto never really had anything. So you don't really feel a lot. You do feel like a sense of like, damn, I wish I really had a parents, but you never really feel it because you had like they died at birth basically. But I just hate when people try to like make Sasuke seem like he's like a terrible person because he doesn't want to be friends with them because he wanted to go off. And I like the way he does things because it's human. Like please tell me after your whole family got massacred, basically for no reason, because they don't want to, because they feel like they were too inadequate for a civil war, and you go off and want to kill. Like this is just like common sense. Like we all would feel this way. But our whole family got massacred. I had to kill my brother who had cancer or dying off of using the Sharingan too much. Why would we not feel like some type of anger? To just say that you wouldn't and to say Sasuke is a bitch for that, it's kind of just like closed mind thinking to me. For sure. It's like he's just, but I do try to like, I think that's why it's like annoying because people will, when it, cause there's Sasuke and Naruto, so they're like the yin and the yang of the show. So people do compare them, but it's like, I think their backstories are completely kind of different types of trauma.
Yeah, and the only thing I do like about Sasuke is that he handled most of his stuff himself. Like he wasn't putting a lot of people at risk to do what he wanted to
Like
do.
Naruto put
And
a lot
that's
of
one
people at
thing.
risk.
That's what I hate about Naruto because I feel like you put so many people at risk to save one person.
Yeah, and the
And it's
person didn't
like
want to be there. He didn't want to be there.
that's what I'm
Obviously,
like.
he didn't want to be there. It's
That
like
was
it's like being with that girl who you know gonna cheat on you. You know she cheat on you every time, but you want your homies to go pick her up from the club every time she go out. You know she going out to cheat on you. You know she not ish, but you still going to go see her.
Sorry, my fault.
You good? That's why we got audio, man. That's why we got audio. But yeah, this is a good whatever. Good talk. So my number 3, I'm gonna go with Gaara. The reason why I know Gaara was your honorable mention, and we talked about how like where childhood ends. I think your childhood, okay, so your kidhood, I think ends at like 11 or 12. But I don't think you're necessarily adult until you're like 19 or 20. That's my opinion. Like you're not really because a lot of people graduate high school at 18, but at 18 you're not really even you're not for real ready for the world. So I think you can't go around saying you're a kid no more past like 18 or 19, but your childhood is, I think, ends at like 11 or 12. Like teenage years, you're not a kid no more. So I think if I put that standard, I think his childhood is probably like from obviously birth to like 10, 11. I mean, he was born, his mom died at birth. That just started that off with. His dad and his uncle tried to kill him both times. I mean, I understand like everybody hated Naruto, but from what we know, nobody ever tried to kill him.
That's debatable.
Who tried to kill him?
Well, they said they had mass people come from different villages trying to kill him.
And his
Wasn't
childhood?
that in fillers?
And his childhood?
Yeah, trying to.
Fillers don't count. That's not the story. Fillers don't count.
Well, I mean, Gaara's storyline is filler. So
no, it's not. His storyline came in fact when the tuning exams, when he was explaining when after Naruto beat him, they talked about his backstory. So Gaara's backstory is why he is what he is now, and what he was in the tuning exam, just a crazy psychotic beast.
Okay, I see.
So that's why it's not really backstory, or it's not really filler. It's just giving context to how he is. And you got to think about this: his tailed beast, he could never sleep because if he ever went to sleep, his tail beast would eat the insides of him and take him over. So he was an emo 12-year-old boy who lost his mom, who his mom died at birth having him, because they forced the tail beast inside of him so they could have a greater nation. Then you had his dad, or the only person he thought he was close with, his uncle, because none of the kids always he can't even have friends. That's like something that will traumatize us, like not be able to interact with the people. But that's just the normal for Jinchuriki. That's like every Jinchuriki can't have friends. So this is not even I don't even have to mention.
Special for him.
That's just known. So, and the person who he thought was his friend said, "I hated you. My mom hated the fact that we had you," and tried to kill him, tried to kill Gaara, and he had to kill him just so he wouldn't be killed. So imagine that was his first.
That happened to B too, didn't it?
Killer B? I don't remember. I really Killer B didn't even make my list, honorable mention list. So I was just like, I didn't even so it could have happened. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, all Jinchuriki go through some type of harassment.
A similar kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's I wouldn't be surprised. But I just think him, this might be bad, it might not be a reason, but because I don't have Naruto on my list, and this might be bad, but I think Gaara was way more darker than Naruto ever would even got, because Naruto got lucky, not lucky, but he did find sensei, whatever, the useless sensei that failed him 3 times. But he found somebody that he could latch onto and be positive, where Gar never
Naruto,
had that. Hmm? Yeah,
Naruto, oh,
yeah. Gar never got lucky enough to have that, so he was just pure evil, like for a long time until he met Naruto. He was just killing people. Like they said, his kill count was like at like almost 300 by the time he got to the tuning exams.
yeah, but I mean, it's harder to say that because he has siblings, so he had people there.
But his siblings never interacted with him because they were scared of him. That was shown. That like they never talked to him. They were scared of him. Like
I
because
mean,
he
they
could
was interacting with him because they would be like, "Oh, calm down, Gara," or
no. I mean that was shown, but I'm saying like in his young. I'm talking about when they were like okay at that time they were 11 to like a little older. I'm saying like in his like until we got to that point they were scared like
"Oh, okay."
like 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 at
I see
least
what you're trying to
I
say.
think you could make the argument that Naruto's childhood was a little I guess
That'd be similar.
yeah, but I think like they're right there. Like it's just all about what do you think
Who
transpired.
has it darker? I
Yeah,
mean, if you go into the murderings and stuff, then yeah, I'll give you that. Because
yeah,
I
and
mean,
like
Naruto didn't get that dark. He
and they
didn't.
were showing no, they were only using Gara for a weapon. Like they were only being like I'm not even saying nice. They were just cordial. Like they would just be decent around him because they know they would kill him. If Naruto was on the same path that Gara, they would definitely not attack him because or try to go out. Like they wouldn't outright talk about him or go on him because they would have got scared they got murked. That's
I
why they
can
didn't talk
feel
about
that.
Gara. Gara would murk you on sight because he had no compassion, no empathy, and his tail beast was evil, but outwardly evil too. Whereas Naruto's was a little more like didn't really
It
see
was way
much
more evil.
who Gara's.
The Nine Tails was way more evil than
But he didn't
Sasuke.
but you didn't see him come out as much until like later Naruto and
I
Shippuden.
think
He
that's
didn't
based on the seals that was
yeah,
used to
yeah,
seal them.
yeah, yeah. And the seal started breaking, whereas Gara's tail beast was just more outspoken in the start. Then you saw that. So that's why I just had Gara at 3. You know,
I can feel it.
I could flip both. Yeah, like it's really close. So who's your number 2, bro?
My number two goes to someone I feel like a lot of people won't even think of in this category, but I chose Rock Lee. I chose Rock Lee because of the
I just
absence.
not because we had him on the episode.
Not because we had on the episode, but because of the absence of a backstory. A lot of things we don't even know about Rock Lee. Like we don't even know if he has family. Rock Lee could just be
That
living
or
in a tree or
that could
with
just,
my guy.
that could just be bad writing though, or not
That
caring
could
about
be
him.
by writing, but mostly every other person in the Konohana 10 or whatever it's called,
But like,
we've seen
what do you
their
think?
family.
But like, we can't assume though. Like, isn't like I think 2 is really high. Like, there's just so many characters. That's really high.
But I mean, majority of everybody else we've seen their family though. We've
So
seen
okay,
what
by your listing, you think he has a better you think he has a like a sadder backstory than Sasuke?
you gotta let me keep going and let me
Okay,
explain my argument for why
okay,
I feel like he should be on this list.
okay.
I feel like just having the absence of not, and then you got to think about his childhood of coming up, of
Mhm.
basically having a similar childhood to Naruto, where everyone is basically picking on you, calling worthless because he can't learn any other ninjutsu to a point to where he basically had to work himself to the bone to only get to maybe you could argue that he had friends and stuff along the way in the process, but it's really hard to dictate when that happened because I just feel like his a period of time trying to because it we don't even really get a good explanation of if he graduated elementary or how that happened or how that do. I think it was because they said he was like good at taijutsu. He passed on that alone or something. He didn't have to do the clone jutsu because remember he couldn't even do the clone jutsu.
Yeah, no, there's no chance he'd be able to.
But the main reason why I pick him is here is because it's basically the absence of a backstory. Basically, the whom it kind of leaves you to the point to like, where does Rock Lee stay? Like, where is he at when the cameras aren't rolling? Like,
And I
does he
think
go
and I
home
think that's
somewhere?
and I think that's why I think we always said Rock Lee might should have maybe been the MC. just because of the mystery and Naruto. Like I think we said this in our group chat. Naruto, of course, yes, Naruto show hard work, but Rock Lee is the embodiment of a struggle. Trying to be a
Yep.
ninja in a world where you need these special, basically magical powers, and you're basically like kung fu. It's a kung fu man, and he still made it like to a Jonin level, and was very important in the ninja, like all these epic moments. He was the embodiment of like real hard work, pushing over a disadvantage for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, I've looked it up. I mean, I guess you can say he might live with might die, but how much, like, how good of a chaperone could that have been? Because I've always in my mind wondered why Kakashi never took in Naruto,
Yeah,
especially
yeah, that
since
was
you were the
weird.
fourth student. Like, you know what I mean? It's connection there. It's to me, it's weird that you didn't step
Yeah,
in
that's
or nothing.
like why are you not
But
taking care of your orphan students? You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute. You on mute, bro. Still on mute. Still on mute. Still on mute. Oh, you're good now. You're good. You're good. You're good. All right. So would you say?
oh crap, where did I stop you? What I
I
said?
don't even know where you were talking about.
Well, I guess we'll just skip it because I
Okay.
can't even.
My argument for Rock Lee, but like I had him like right under my honorable mention. The only thing is that absence does bring mystery, but I just feel like there's only so much I can take that. Like I have to take the fact that they didn't use his character as great as they could have. Like I don't think that it's because Rock Lee doesn't have a great character. I just think that the writing on him, writing on all the side characters, especially as we got to Shippuden, got very lackluster, like very lackluster at best. And we even saw the greatest of the side characters, Shikamaru, get like flushed out, and as Shippuden went to the later stages. So I think he does have a bad backstory. Trying to be the best you can be with an event. That's like a kid trying to play basketball, but only like there's a kid. He's like a sensational basketball player, right? But he only has one arm, so it's only really so far like he can go. His name's like Emmanuel Hudson, one of the best players I've ever seen. But he only has one arm. Like he has the height, he has all that stuff. But he only has one arm, so it's legit only so far you can get with one arm, unless he gets a prosthetic or something like that. But it's like that Rock Lee showed that like there's only so far you can get. That no matter, even sometimes no matter how hard you work, if you aren't have a little bit of luck or there's like a tail beast inside of you, you might not be able to
Yeah,
be the best you can be. So that aspect I love, but the fact that they didn't really give him the fleshed out as backstory as we wanted to, it makes it an interesting mystery. But I have to take it and say that I can't put him over certain guys if I don't know what happened. That's just for me. That's all. But I like how
I
you came
think
at
your
a
buddy
different
just
you came at a different window. I liked how you like brought it to the table.
your buddy just hit the chat.
No, I ain't gonna edit this. Editing it sucks. This is some real life.
I'm sorry, it just hit my thing, and I was like, oh, maybe he's saying he want to get in.
No, he said he can't make it. He'll be fine. Okay,
Oh,
back to the okay, so yeah. All right. Yeah, Rock Lee. So so it's Rock Lee number 2, right? Good. We're good, right?
mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna go with my number 2. This was tough, man. This was really, 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 really. I don't know. It might be cheating if I go with tie. You know what? I'm gonna go with tie. I'm gonna
Well,
go Itachi.
you said a tie.
Yeah, I'm at a
Oh,
tie.
Itachi.
Itachi slash Sasuke. Like that's my tie for 2. I'm gonna go Itachi first because we did say Sasuke already. I mean, it's like I said, it's hard again because when he murdered everybody, he was already like 13. So like again, is 13 still really, 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 really a childhood? Like I guess it could be, but I already said earlier, I kind of think at 13 you're not really a kid. I don't know, whatever. Y'all can decide. But I mean, he was in the Anbu at the age of 8. He was in the third grade ninja war at the age of 6. He's seen multiple deaths. He's been a part of multiple deaths until the fact that he had to legit murder everybody. He had a decently normal. He was a prodigy, a decently normal prodigy. He graduated the middle school at the age of like 5 or 6. Like he graduated within a year, and it takes 4 years to get through this program. He was just a normal prodigy. But the fact, like, think about this, because the people, your elders are so scared of your people that they tell you the only way you could, like, the only way you can survive the only way we can survive and you do the greater good, you have to murk everybody in your entire clan and you can maybe save your brother. That's it. But if you don't do that, we're going to kill them all while they're asleep. Well, I don't think they might have been able to kill them because I don't know if there was a civil war between, that might have been an interesting debate. So the Leaf Village versus the Uchiha clan, that would have got ugly.
That it would have got ugly. I don't think.
I think
the Uchihas might have.
I think they would.
They might have win.
I think they might
would
have mocked the. Was Shisui? Remember, his best friend killed himself because they were scared of how powerful he was. You had a creep like Danzo taking people's eyes left and right, like we're playing Pokken Jacks, just taking people's eyes out left and right.
That's why I've never liked the third Hokage. Because to me, it seemed like a lot of people was able to do some dirty ass shit while he was in power. Right? You got your student doing crazy shit, your nigga from down the street doing crazy shit, and you just sitting back just
taking it out.
Just smoking your little pipe every once in a while.
Taking it, man. And like think about it, it's like think about like if all of us were in that situation, we like if somebody was like you have to kill your whole family, your immediate family, like your cousin, your girlfriend, like all that, just so we potentially don't go. Like they were even talking about going there, so like it wasn't even at that point.
No, I've always considered Itachi a weak character for
that. Do you, like I said, like
I guess that's a whole nother argument.
Like I said, is it a weak character or is it setting up a storyline? Because without Itachi doing that, you don't have Sasuke. You don't have Sasuke. You don't have Sasuke with the same motivation. You don't have that. You don't have the reason for Naruto to get better.
Yes, but it doesn't have to be Itachi who kills the family for that to happen.
He was the strongest one in the family. That's why he's a prodigy.
But I mean, you could have had any Uchiha kill all the Uchiha.
But he's the most appealing one. He's the one that we all will gravitate to, and they know. And he's a marketable character too, by the way. Like, he has the drip. He eventually became like Akatsuki. Because remember, they didn't tell the story like with him. They told him like firstly as the bad guy, and they went back. So you had already at least thought Itachi, like on first time seeing Itachi, you thought he was pretty cool. Like you knew he was the villain, but you thought he was pretty cool. But
he was a pretty cool character. I always equivalent what he did to like if like say if like all the superior white people came together and told you like I want you to kill all your race of people. Mm-hmm. I just feel like that's just
maybe he didn't believe they could win.
A cowardly way. I don't know. I just feel like I will always fight for my people to be on top. Like I wouldn't like if I was Itachi, I'd be like, well, fuck that. I would be on my side and we'll fight you, Leaf Village folks.
I think so I think the reason why he didn't was because he like I said was in the third Great Ninja War. He knows what war is like. He knows the detriment. Even if they would have won, that place would have been in shambles. You would have had a lot of kids dying. You would have had more kids dying.
But that means kill all your people?
Like okay, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that you would have had like the whole Leaf Village would have been wiped out. Like not just Uchihas, just kids who weren't involved, like just wiped out. So not like I think he thinks, okay, this might not be good for my people, but for the overall Leaf Village, it might be what's best. I don't agree. I'm not saying what I'm necessarily agree, but I think that's Itachi's perspective. Yeah, I'm taking my.
I got a question for you. Do you think Itachi could ever go to heaven? On a moral standpoint,
like morality.
Yeah,
I mean, he was a soldier, so he did what his job was asked for.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good one.
So we're taking morality, and so when you're doing a job, as long as you're not Because if you're following the task and you always, I think your morality can't really come into play when you're a soldier for war. Because if
See,
you
I
do
feel
it,
like it's the only difference because it's not war.
yeah,
He did it as a coup d'etat. He did it when they were asleep. It wasn't no actual war stated. This was basically the leaf afraid, and we don't want them to, our a rebellion. They thought
I
may
never,
have happened.
but I never even understood that point from like village perspective. What, like, oh, if that's the case, why don't we sit down and have like a civil debate? Like,
Or something. These
yeah, like,
are the strongest people in your village. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
like you can't tell me when like Madara or Obito comes back and you have the Uchihas at your expense that y'all would probably mop the floor with them better than y'all did with that.
Without them,
Yeah.
y'all lost a lot of Fujitsu because of that.
So on back to your morality standpoint, I think that's really tough. Not even because they're anime characters, but that's just tough because
You
he's
think because he was told to do it?
yeah, because you're a pawn. So it's like even in the Bible, like God wiped out a lot of people. God wiped out a lot of people
That's
in the
true.
Old Testament. So, you know, I don't think,
I just feel like his sins is just too deep.
what
Because I just feel like he
so
had
you
an
think
option.
so you
I
think he
feel like he had an option.
so do you think he's stupidly too loyal to the league, or he was stupidly too loyal to the Leaf Village?
Yeah, I mean, when you're to me, that's almost being more loyal to like the America than to my people. It
Mm-hmm,
just seems weird to me.
mm-hmm. I
I
think it's
don't know because I feel like the people is
mm,
the place.
right.
Because no matter if the place gets destroyed, if the people are still there, that's why I've always felt it weird. Like I guess it's understandable within Itachi's character based on how he is after he does destroy the leaf, being like alone and stuff. But it's like I don't know his character. It's just been hard for
I
me
think
to
I think
gravitate towards his
we're
character.
also under like we're forgetting the fact that he did have to kill all of them. So that like like I know like not the strong points of the he did kill them while they were asleep. So maybe it was a lesser or maybe they weren't as attentive because it came to
But
them.
then you,
But
what are you? Oh,
no,
sorry.
no. So I'm just saying that like from a mental aspect, he like killing your girl, like he did love them obviously, but killing them like definitely affects with your psyche. Like I know there was nights he went like dreams and just like he probably did some things where he would have genjutsus of imagining like what he did to him that self that night, or just imagining what life was like if they were still alive. So I do feel like mentally, like that did play like that probably war on him, not giving him an excuse or whatever. It's just that like it's just an interesting morality type of combat. Like, is this the greater good or was the greater good maybe sitting down and talking it out? But then again, it's a very fight based anime, so nobody wants to see that. So it's like, you know. But back to his, I think. What were you gonna say? My bad. If you remember,
All I was gonna say is I always thought it was weird that he was able to kill all the Uchihas
I would
when
love.
they had like what's that one jutsu they have when they can come back alive? All they have to do is get rid of one eye.
I don't
I'm
know.
like,
Yeah,
if everyone if they could do that, I'm like, how did he kill all of them? It just seemed crazy to me. But
and I think no, I
but
think
he did have Obito help, so
yeah,
I guess that
yeah,
could
and
help.
I think a reason why they wanted Uchiha to do it was because if they would have had somebody from me, like, because there was always that Uchiha versus like a Leaf Village person, like it was all like the Madara versus what the first Hokage, then Naruto, like you wanted somebody that was technically inside of their. I think they were trying to show that like the Uchiha are inherently bad, so that's why we're gonna have a Uchiha like take them all like out. That's why like I don't think they didn't want the world to look at them as like even though Naruto's world building is not that good, but they didn't want the world to look at them like, oh, here it is again, another Leaf Village or Uchiha thing. They took them all out, and probably because they feel like they couldn't. But we did forget Obito was there, so I don't think a lot of people are beating Prime Itachi and Prime Obito together in the same room. It's not nothing you want to see, unless
And
you.
then I think another one would be if strategic, it's probably easier to have an Uchiha do it because if you have someone else from a different village come in and try to do that, they'd be easier detected.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people didn't like his family didn't fight back
Mhm.
because it was Itachi.
Right.
I think it would be different if it
If it
was
was
like
just like
Naruto
us,
and
like us,
Hyuga. Like if
like
a Hyuga came in, they probably would be like, "Oh hell no, take this to the death."
mhm. But it just is interesting. Like when we post this, I want to like I hope people comment. Like I want to understand like what's everybody's perspective on. Like I know most of us would never probably we would just say nah, we just gonna take it back to tell them what y'all said and we're going to just fight duke this out. But like why did Kishimoto write it that way? Like why? Like it would be interesting. Like I said, I think what they were trying, Luke Phillips was trying to do was trying to break the cycle of trying to have the Uchiha versus everybody type of thing. And I think, like I said, this was amazing character development for one Sasuke, and that's Sasuke having good character development or pushing him to like wanting to hit Itachi. Also pushes that makes him want to be stronger. Also pushes Naruto to want to be stronger to catch up to Sasuke. That's kind of how I think that all ties in. And for emotional standpoint, when Itachi ends up dying, but I just think he has a sad backstory in the fact that like I like remember when he did this, he was only 12 or 13 years old. Like he was still like really young,
Yeah.
naive, dumb, not dumb, naive, don't really know your way. Like we did a
See, I don't know if you can use naive because they said he was like had the wisdom as a Kage at like 6.
yeah, but okay, there's a lot of I know it's anime, it's all hyperbole, but 12 is like you're still like if it was me at this age now going, I would just be like, no, like nah, we're gonna scrap this out. Or we can have civilize it. I don't know if it's writing, but
But remember your early argument,
mhm,
depending on where you are, depending on your circumstances versus
yeah,
nurture versus nature.
yeah,
He
no,
was
no, 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 no.
able.
I'm saying like in the age aspect of like when I mean naive. Like if I'm a soldier and I'm younger, like I'm not like he's experienced, yes, but he's not as older as Don. He's not as old as that. So he looked like he respects his elders. So it's like I'm not gonna like when you're younger too, and he is loyal. He's gonna respect that. But if I'm a little older, I'm gonna be like, no,
More
like
questionable.
I'm gonna go back to my family, tell them what you gotta say, and I'm gonna be like, just no, because we can talk about this out, or we're going to scrap about it. But I do think it's unreal, like how young he was when he did this. Like, and then he only joined the Akatsuki, what, at like 18, 19? I forgot how old, like he was early 20s, maybe late teens. So there's like a 6 or 7 year gap where he's just wondering. You don't know if he has friends, family. Like, I mean, I'm sure he probably stole food or was fine, but it's just like he was alone for a long, alone. Like he killed, it was a big thing. He killed his girlfriend, put him in a genjutsu, and then killed like of their perfect life, then killed her. And they said they were
No,
in love.
he was with the Akatsuki.
Oh yeah,
That was
he joined right after. Yeah, I'm tripping.
because that was the only reason why Obito helped.
Yeah, if you join type of thing, because do you think he still could win like all like took all them out without Obito?
See,
I don't
that's
know.
where it gets hard. I don't think so because you got to think Obito was a monster at that point. Because I mean,
Yeah,
just a few years earlier, he basically took the fourth Hokage out. So I mean,
yeah,
he
but
was
like
he was pretty strong.
yeah,
But Itachi, it's really hard to really
and they
defend
didn't show they
because
didn't
we
show
don't know if he had the Mangekyo.
yeah.
I think he did.
And yeah, he did because Shisui died or whatever, so he did. But it wasn't as mastered as it was as his later years, of course. But they didn't show like who was he fighting, were the people fighting in the show or the anime, so we can't even tell like who was really fighting back, or if everybody was just kind of like, well,
Is
well,
that oh yeah, sleeping
yeah, or yeah, and it was late, like it was so you don't know if everybody was asleep. Like his own dad was probably the strongest person in that clan and didn't fight back.
basically.
Oh
But I always say that one jutsu, you know that
yeah,
how because Obito used it where they can just bring no Donzo used it hella when they can keep coming back.
yeah.
It's like no one used that. Like,
Yeah,
like that
exactly,
was
exactly. Yeah, so
just
it's interesting. It's interesting. And then my number two, my like I guess 282. Well, it's not order. Like they're like right there. It's Sasuke because I think we legit talked about all this, but the fact that you like now it's crazy. Now I have to crap on Itachi now. It's kind of funny. So now it's like I mean your whole brother like literally massacred your whole clan, put you in a genjutsu, get you Genjutsu, you relive that. I think he relived it for 24 straight hours, like seeing your whole family. Your brother said you was worthless. That's already like at a young child who looked up to their brother. That's already just in itself. And then you see your parents' blood all over your brother's face. And then he said you're worth like you're not even worth killing. That's why I left you alive. Even though I think that's pretty corny and funny, but it's like as a young child, it's just like that's traumatic. And then basically, I guess that's just traumatic. Like, I think that's probably more traumatic to see your whole clan massacred. Everybody else is living on with their family. You had a family. You had all that. But everybody else is looking at you like this dark. I know that probably the parents looking at you like he's so dark and he never wants to talk to nobody, like this dark emo kid. But they don't understand. Like I remember there's one quote from Sakura. She was basically like, Naruto sucks. Like my parents make it's because he's an orphan. He doesn't have parents. My parents make me do this, and I hate them. And he's like, you don't even understand what it's like. Like that's why I think he still does. Like he thinks Naruto's annoying, but he has respect for him because they both like both are orphans. Like they both like are like people who go home not getting that hey son or hey mom, hey dad, that hug, hey mama, or that snack is just empty. And I don't understand why they wasn't given a caregiver. I don't understand why you didn't the third didn't take him in or Kakashi. Like I don't or the
Now they
look,
move together.
yeah, like like no orphanage, not even on some Promise Neverland orphanage come together thing.
So did he just stay in the same house where that his parents and them got killed and was
No, they
just
moved. They moved. They moved.
getting
They moved.
angry?
It was a
Oh,
filler.
he got moved.
They moved. Yeah, it was like a
Oh,
filler.
cause I just thought he was just sitting in the same house,
And then
just mad, just angry.
they
like,
moved them. They moved them. So like yeah, and I think the thing that makes his childhood more impactful was when he found out in his later teens that no, Itachi wasn't just somebody who was just power hungry. Cause that was my first anime, so that was a big shock to me. I was like, whoa, he like but looking back on it now, it looked predictable that it was more reason on why you just don't kill him. But then sometimes you do have characters that just want to that are just fight hungry, so you understand that. But we find out that basically he was set up by the village, and now everybody's telling you, we know you need to calm down. Just go back. It's okay. Things happen. That was 10, 11 years ago. Like, no, my whole family is gone. And even at best, let's say at best, he had 5 kids. It would take years and generations for you to even get close to what you had. Those are hundreds of people. Like your generational lines. Like if Sasuke ever got killed, that was it. That was it. Like
true.
you were legit the last Uchiha, last Airbender, all that. Like do you not? I don't think that people realize like one how long it takes for generations to come through, but literally everything is gone. Like all his heritage, it's not gone because it's still memories and libraries, but to share that with somebody else is gone. To somebody else, like imagine like if like every African American person besides maybe just me you killed is gone. None of the heritage like that connection of knowing somebody having that look like oh yeah, you know that song, yeah, you know that artist, yeah, or you know that sport, like you don't have that. Like of course there's other people and other cultures, but with inside you feel most comfortable for some people inside your own, and all that is gone, like gone. And then you end up having a daughter, but you're always out doing missions, so she's not going to be like as in tune with the Uchiha culture because your wife isn't a Uchiha.
Yeah, you could argue there would never be another pure
Yeah,
Uchi again because
yeah.
there'll be
There will never be another pure Uchiha because it will always be in blood or
embryo. It'll be always somebody
yeah,
coming
yeah,
in. But
yes.
then I also have one more question for you.
Mhm.
What did you think about that scene in the anime of Sasuke learning that Itachi was a good guy? Because that's actually
Yeah,
considered one of Naruto's like best
yes,
moments.
yeah, because he just doesn't know. Like he's just legit going full breakdown mode. He does not know how to react because his whole life was built like past the age of 8. His whole life was built on I'm going to take down Itachi. That's the right thing. Like one, you'll get recognition from the Leaf Village. Everybody will be happy with you. You'll be like one of the top. If you can defeat Itachi, you're a top tier ninja for sure, and you get avenged for your clan.
Yep.
You did all those things, and it's just it just reminds me of like when you finish a video game, but you don't feel as happy as you did when you first got the video. Like he wanted to enjoy the killing of him so much that he didn't even get to enjoy the adventure. And then when he finally got to what he wanted, he realized it was all a dream, all a setup, all that. So it was just like whole life mind brain fuck, basically.
Yeah.
And I just felt lied to. And I know, I mean, whoever the dub voice actors, one of the best dubs of all time, did amazing of showing how like the animators of his face, like it was just
His
he's
breakdown.
yeah, it was great, man. It was, or
He
bad.
basically couldn't breathe. They did really good on it. Because it
Yes.
was basically he took away his whole reason for living.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can understand why he put him
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah. So I'm tired too with them. So who's your number one, bro?
My number one has to go to Mr. Kakashi Hatake.
Okay, cool. I had the same one.
Oh damn.
Yep, I had the
Yeah.
same one.
I had to take Kakashi Hatake because I feel like he is literally both Naruto and Sasuke's childhood
Right.
in one person.
Right.
And he basically, to me, he was a different aspect of Sasuke, basically taking on all the stuff and going about it a different way in his adult way and not letting it consume him. But there were parts of Kakashi's childhood that were dark. I mean, he lost his father and his mother. Like his mother, we don't even know if he even had a relationship with his mother,
Right.
but we know he lost his father because he committed suicide
Right.
based on the village basically bad mouthing him and calling him a shitty ninja for not doing what he was supposed to.
Oh,
And
yeah,
you gotta think.
no, no, I got you. You said is that weak minded? Because I remember you asking me to talk you first. So if somebody talking about you, do you think that's weak minded that his dad killed himself?
See, that's different. No, okay, it's I. Hmm.
No mental health jokes, by the way. This is all anime. This is all anime, y'all.
Yeah, I feel like what you're saying, but I'll say in the circumstances which is different because I feel like Kakashi's dad killed himself more on a morality thing, standing by his own morals, than what Itachi did
So what do you think
was
his
based.
morality is? Like,
He killed himself because he disobeyed a mission command and that was saving his friends.
right,
Basically, without finishing the mission, because basically how they did it in those times it was finish the mission at all costs. Whoever is a casualty is a casualty.
yeah.
But he didn't see it that way. And basically, when he came back, he was basically getting talked down, and clan was looking at him differently.
I kind of relate like that. I like how you write it out because it's kind of like I guess it's like toxic masculinity, where it's like because you go about things in the wrong way. Like I know with guys, it's like, oh, you can't show like no emotion. It's kind of a pair. Like, tell me if you think I'm tripping. Like how guys, like people be like, well, you can't show no emotion. You can't be like this and that. But when you do, people look at you like you're weird. But like,
Yep,
but
I see
like
what you're saying.
now to what this anime scenario, he saved a life. Like I understand you can take the mission, but you can go to the mission another day. I don't know if that one was another day you could do it. Like if that was a one-time thing, I understand, but you still did a good thing while maybe not accomplishing the mission. You saved somebody. But I know for everybody, like if you save one person, if they don't know the person, they're not gonna care because they're worried about being finished the mission. So it's like it's kind of interesting to see like people how they think and stuff like that.
And then Kakashi also had a shitty childhood life. One thing I never
Bro,
understood about Naruto,
he had to kill literally had to kill Ren.
his own Ren.
He
But I mean,
thought
he lived in his own home by himself. I don't know
yes,
why
yeah.
Naruto they just don't give a
He
fuck
was
about.
he was big in
It was
the third great ninja war. He saw a lot of killing at a young age, as a lot of these ninjas do.
well, yeah, both his friends died,
And his master,
either saving him and his master, all in which had him. I guess his master died, and he wasn't really involved with that. But his friends, both of them died, which he had some part in each one of those.
right?
that basically storing his
Can we talk
trauma.
about how like Obito's like slick a hoe? Like
Huh?
slick. Can we talk about how Obito's slick a hoe?
How you
Slick.
got what? How you got? Oh, Ren.
No. How he's just like he's low key just like a simp. Like he's a definition of like an anime simp. Like like he's like you killed Ren. Like he still like when he gets older in the war, he still acts like he's still 12. Like he's like you killed Ren. You killed Ren. I'm just like okay, yes, but you guys are in a world. Like let him explain why you're not 12 anymore. Like you're not 12. Like let him explain why. Like his whole reasoning kind of was because he felt like Kakashi screwed over Ren. So that's
See,
all.
the the fuel that started it was that, but I feel like them bringing up Ren a lot in the end of the war kind of made it seem like he did it all for Ren.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
he definitely
moments where he actually said stated that this wasn't all about Ren.
did. Hmm.
Like it was when they were fighting and he was basically like talking about it. Like this wasn't all about Ren. It was kind of like a lot of other stuff that compounded.
Right.
I don't know,
I just think the
but
anime.
I
I
do
think
feel like it is
the anime made it seem like
mm,
it was, and it was very annoying. Like it, we all said,
yeah, I do. I feel like it does,
yeah, exactly. And
and
then
it
another
does
thing
make his
about
character kind of look shitty.
yeah, I think another thing about Kakashi is that like the fact that he still went through all that and like is still a good leader, like with the bell test. I love how he did the bell test. Like he never leave anybody behind. Like you listen, like, and when we watched the episode 4, we're not thinking that like, oh, this is gonna matter. But then his master did the exact same thing, and he understands that so much because it's like he felt like he let them behind. So no matter who's gonna come in, like he failed 4 previous teams before. Like they were the first team to pass. I think in a long time. So the fact that like he just can give such great like leadership to these new groups of this new generation of ninjas after what he's been through. A lot of people characters would just bought, kill themselves, not be involved in the ninja world, stay in the house, cry all day. But he legit kept pushing because honestly, in situations like that, to feel normal or to not think about it, you have to do something. Like if like somebody your family dies, you can't sit around and be sobbing because it's gonna get you back to stuff. You have to go be active. You have to engage with other people to make you feel like alive to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, he was also with the Black Ops too. So I mean, he was working with Donzo. He had to do a lot of dark missions. He actually got pulled from that from Minato,
Mm-hmm.
so that he help he was helping Naruto's mom. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why I always thought it was weird that he never helped. He was never with Naruto.
Yeah,
But I can understand because if you go based on his childhood, he probably wouldn't know how to take care of somebody else. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. So I can see why they didn't because maybe towards like like the Naruto series like actually like first starts when like because it's a weird like they tell a story kind of backwards because like they go forward tell but then they come back and tell you obviously but like when Naruto started he probably would have been ready to take care of somebody or like not even really take care to more like guidance and to be like a male or role figure whatever to
Hmm.
anybody but at that point he wasn't and when the start of Naruto he was a full grown adult. Whereas when he was messing, like when he was still messing with doing missions with the Allen he was maybe like a teenager. So, growth, of course. So,
Yeah, I guess you can always argue he was always like the
for sure.
Hokage's like secret, like they always top guy. Like he was always one of their top ninjas.
Right.
So you
And
don't really want
you
your
kind of
top
forget,
ninjas.
he was the Hokage. Like we're saying all this, and I forgot
Yeah.
he was Hokage. He was a six Hokage. I legit didn't even. I just came in my head. Oh yeah, he was a Hokage. Like it's weird. He's like not a forgettable Hokage, but to go through all that and still become the Hokage, like
It's because he seems like he might be the weakest.
Tsunade. So not.
You
I
think Tsunade? I don't know. Tsunade without Kakashi, without the Sharingan? That seems pretty close. Like I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely like, it's
Tsunade
an
might
argument.
win that.
It's an argument for sure. But I
I feel
think
like people be discounting the fact that she was.
no, she's the worst. But she like on a like a character and political standpoint, she's like the worst Hokage.
You
Like I'm
think
talking about like,
so?
maybe
I
Toby,
think she did. She had a lot of shit to deal with
maybe
as a
Toby, maybe Toby,
Hokage.
maybe Toby Rama because he was racist, but I don't know. Maybe it's arguable. She
No, I think the third was worse.
or third, yeah, yeah. But they don't really flesh out like what he was in his prime, like what he was actually doing. Like what we saw of it, he was pretty terrible. So
Yeah, what we saw, it didn't make sense some of his decisions. Maybe his younger days, we can probably understand
but yeah,
more.
we know how old people get when they get old. They just get very stuck in their way, not really wanting to do like things. So it hurt that we kind of got him as like Naruto
Oh,
sending.
now that you said that, because this is funny. Do you know those two old people that always come out and when Tsunade want to do something like the elders?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you know they were on the same team as the third Hokage
Sheesh.
and Danzo? And that's why they always had that kind of relationship.
That makes sense. Why? So Donzo's like a Sasuke, like 3 generations from like just a emo grandpa, a emo grandpa. So yeah.
Don.
So all right, before we get out of here, restate your list for the people.
Oh, for my list, starting from the end, it was Naruto, Rock Lee,
Mm-hmm.
and Kakashi.
Who was your honorable mention? If you have,
My honorable mention was Gara.
okay. My honorable mention was Pain. I had Gara. I had Gara. Then I had Itachi / Sasuke, and then my number one was Kakashi. I think it's pretty close. You guys should let us know what you think. Yeah,
Or if it's somebody you think we didn't list.
yeah, because there's a lot of characters in the show that we didn't mention, and
I would like to hear more people from different villages though, because I don't really know their storylines from the back of my head. So that really.
Naruto's world building. That's I could say maybe Kisame. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know
Yeah.
how his exact childhood though was.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, the world building on Naruto is kind of like when it comes to people who don't matter, it kind of just doesn't matter, if you know what I mean. So yeah. But before we get out of here, you guys go like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're on any podcasting platforms, you guys hit that subscribe button, leave a 5-star review. Those help. You can go follow my co-host Lens and RGAP2. You can go follow Rashawn on his podcast, RGAP2 on all podcast platforms. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Tell us what you think. Stay safe and peace.